By now, you probably know that the classic 1980s flick Roadhouse, starring Patrick Swayze and considered by many to be the best, worst movie ever made, was remade in 2024 for Amazon Prime, starring Jake Gyllenhaal and Conor McGregor. While the film is readily available on Amazon Prime, it premiered on March 21st. The world premiere happened at South by Southwest just a couple weeks prior. I had the pleasure of taking to the red carpet to chat with Jake, Conor, and plenty of others involved with the production about the remake. And before we get going here, I want to encourage you, if you're just listening right now, check this episode out through Spotify or my YouTube channel. Just search Books on Pod with Trey Elling. That'll give you the full experience here because we do bounce back and forth a little bit from interviewee to interviewee. Without further ado, my red carpet coverage of the world premiere of Roadhouse.
Thank you.
Hey, Conor, Trey, nice to meet
you, Troy.
Big fan, so thank you for everything you do for me and the other fans.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much, sir.
That Paisley print has never looked so badass, so kudos on that.
It's like Texas vibe, rock and roll. You know, taught rocking for the Texans.
Exactly. So what did Jake teach you about acting?
Jake was instrumental for me. I would have been in a bad spot without Jake and Doug, director Doug, and my acting coaches, Nancy Banks and Elena George, who helped me tremendously. I learned so much. This guy is, Jake is a consummate professional, so it was an honor to be in a movie with him.
Oh man, well Conor was teaching me all the time. Like every take we would do, we go back to the monitor, we look at it. He'd be showing me moves or things I had done that I could change and switch up like constantly. I mean, even when we were grappling, he'd be talking to me. He'd be like, wrap the leg over for, put it farther over. There you go, under the head. Like he's talking to me in the scenes.
What did you teach Jake about fighting?
Jake can fight as well, so I was just sharpening up a couple of his punching, make sure the torque of the body was correct. And, not that he hadn't got it already, but sometimes if you're in the middle of a combination, if you've got a 5 or 6 punch combination, maybe the third punch might be a little bit novice-y looking, and I just wanted to refine that and make sure it was as venomous as we could get it, and that's what we got.
It was interesting to have him learn how to not fight, because, for him, he's just used to landing the punch. But to not land the punch, which is what happens in movies, was a new skill to learn, right? And so it was funny to teach such an extraordinary athlete how to not do their job as well as they should be doing it. But
you didn't land any fake punches, did you?
Actually, yes, I did sometimes by mistake. He didn't care, but he hit me a couple times by mistake, and that was actually he was so but it's inevitable in this. I mean, we fight. There's so much fighting in this movie, that was an inevitability.
Did you go back and watch the original film as a way to just maybe get a basic idea for what it was you wanted to do, even though this is obviously its own project?
Yes, I've watched it many years ago once, and then of course I rewatched it again, but not not thinking what can I do differently. I know that that's a classic, but I didn't want to do something based on it in a way. I honor the classic, but this is its own thing.
There's a lot of fine and care into this, being very meticulous on what's going to be paid homage to in terms of the old one, and then how you can make it fresh still. So I think the fans will still appreciate all the homage, but they'll still appreciate the new take on it because, again, they want a new experience, but they want what they know, So that's why I think it's going to be a good balance. I have seen it, so I'm excited for them to see it,
Well, I don't think it should be on that scale, and I think art is a subjective thing of a time, of a generation. So, the original Roadhouse, you could celebrate it, and it'd be awesome, and that's what we did. You're allowed to watch the VHS tape, the DVD, whatever, screener of it, and you could celebrate ours as well. I don't think it should be one's better than the other or a competition. Art is not a competition. It should never be. It doesn't make sense when people are competing in this industry, because you go hey, I'm going to put something in the world that I think is important to share. Not even important to share, but just fun. I just hope we don't have to compete. There's no reason.
Hey, what's going on? He's fired. What's up? Y'all gotta pay attention to this guy.
Hey, we got Dom in the good to see you.
Likewise. He's the modern Jeff Healy character in this in this movie as well. For someone who's a real life musician, have you ever actually had to play behind chicken wire before?
I haven't played behind chicken wire. Usually the shows that I play don't get quite that rowdy. Look, I'm a country music singer. Things do get rowdy from time to time. I've had a couple people throw things on stage, but never a full fight like that break out the way that it does in the film. So I'm excited to see how it fits into the overall narrative. Obviously, I've seen the original, but they've changed some things around. So I'm cool to see what that role was based on, and hopefully I can do it justice.
Did you cover any Healy songs as part of what you were playing on stage in your role?
I didn't. I actually was singing one of my own songs. So that's a pretty cool moment for me and my co-writers who made that record to see it now in a blockbuster film.
So considering this movie is all about fighting, when was the last time you were in a physical fight? Why did it happen, and what was the outcome?
Oh gosh, well that takes me back to high school. No, I've never been in a fight. I've gotten very close. I've wanted to hit many people, but I'm going to attribute that to my...
Oh, have you spent time in Austin in traffic?
The traffic is something. I've just seen it. Just got a little clip of it. But no, thankfully, no actual physical fights. Verbal abuse for sure. Like I can scream at someone like anyone, but an actual punch, no.
Especially from the safety of your car. That's when it feels really good to scream at somebody else.
I've got a lot of things to say to the drivers in front of me for sure.
It wasn't more a fist fight. It was more of a clawing fight. I remember we were in the parking lot of the Los Angeles Public Library, and she wanted to sit in the front seat, and I wanted to sit in the front seat, and I made a mistake because my sister has like these huge bare hands, and she kind of whipped my ass a little bit, and I was like, well, I'm not going to try it anymore. So, and that was all for the front seat.
I haven't been in a full fist fight. I had a situation once at a bar where some girls that I was out with, one of them wasn't really feeling the attention that she was getting from a male suitor. I kindly let him know, hey man, plenty of other girls here, she's not really feeling it. And he took that opportunity to shove me and break my glasses in half, which I feel like, hey, you don't know how blind I might be, bro. Like, that's like knocking somebody out of a wheelchair off their crutches. I didn't like that, but I did not push back. I said, hey, I'm not about that. So as Jake says in the film, nobody really wins in a fight, so I stepped away.
Well, growing up, my main sport was boxing, so I fought for 13 years. So I was the kid that was yeah. So I was the kid that was fighting on the street. Yeah, they're licensed, so for sure. But growing up, I fought a lot, and then it got to the point where my dad was like, "Yo, you need to learn how to do this like in the right way." Took me to the boxing gym, became my coach, and I excelled in boxing. So for me, my last fight was in the ring in 2011, you know what I'm saying? And then that's when I graduated high school. I started my path to become an actor and a filmmaker. I went to LA Film School, and then now, years later, I'm doing it in movies. So I get to still do what I love, but as an actor.
Have you ever been in a physical fight in your life? If so, what were the You have not. What's the closest you've come?
The closest. Yeah, maybe. But like at home, like when I was younger. yeah. But never like physical, no.
You're a big sports fan.
Yes, sir.
Football, your favorite sport?
Football, hockey, big Rangers fan.
Big Rangers fan. Okay, I'm a big Blackhawks fan.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I lived in Chicago and got to cover the team in the 6 years where they were winning a lot of Stanley Cups.
That's awesome. I'm sadly a Jets fan, but I love the Jets. Come on, Mets, Jets, and Rangers.
You're a believer in the Jets if Aaron Rodgers comes back completely healthy next year?
I mean, let's look at the track record of what happens when that happens. Like, I was always a fan of Rodgers. I think he's a great quarterback. I hope he does a great job, or at least like leads the team in a great direction with a great mentality. That's my hope, honestly. I believe in him. I really do.
What was your favorite part of making Roadhouse?
Favorite part was getting to live on the beach for a while. I mean, not the actual beach, but we got to stay in these apartments that were on the beach, which was really nice.
Where were y'all?
We were in the Dominican Republic.
Oh, yeah, that's nice.
Nice, beautiful water. Like, everyone was super nice. It was nice.
First time to the DR?
Yeah, it was, actually. Hopefully not my last. Have you been?
No, I haven't. I've been to St. Thomas, St. Martin, and St. John's for a day, but never DR. I've heard great things, though. Favorite food there?
Yeah, I had a lot of good rice there.
Lots of chicken rice in the Caribbean.
A lot of good tostones, too.
What did you love most about getting to make this film with so many talented people around you?
It's amazing. I couldn't believe when I realized, oh my God, I'm doing a movie with Jake Gyllenhaal, with Post Malone, with Conor McGregor, with Billy, with everyone. I had to pinch myself all the time.
All right, last question now, because Conor's obviously a real life badass. How many Jake Gyllenhaals would it take to beat Conor McGregor in a real fight?
That would be like the Matrix, man. You'd need like
a bunch of Mr. Smiths.
You'd need like 1,000 Mr. Smiths. Yeah.
Cool. How many Jakes would it take to beat Conor McGregor in a real life fight?
Fucking 12, proper 12 Jake Gyllenhaals.
How many of me's would it take to beat Conor McGregor in a fight?
Proper 12 yourself.
Man, I think 3 of us, 3 Bobs could take him down.
3? Wow.
But also then I just saw there was a clip online of these 3 guys. They used to do, because I'm a big UFC fan, they used to have, there's this fighting network that has these 3 guys fight against one, this really badass guy, and these 3 average guys going and fight him. And it didn't end so well for the 3 average guys. So I might need a couple actually more, maybe 5.
5 seems reasonable.
Biting at Conor's ankles, we need somebody fucking grabbing his fucking whatever.
Oh, you got to fight like a stanza with Conor McGregor.
If it's a fight to the death, you got to go to the death against Conor.
I think it would probably take maybe 6 of me.
Yeah, 5, 6 seems like the number.
5 to 6 feels like a good number. I feel like 4 is way too ambitious. 7 feels like I'm not giving myself enough credit. I'd say 5.5. Breland's could probably take a Conor.
Let me just do some math. I'd say about maybe 18.3 BKs to beat one Conor McGregor.
I don't want to. I want to become his friend.
You want to become his friend? Okay.
Just one to become his friend.
Okay.
Better not to fight for me.
6,000.
6,000, that's a good number. I've heard 18.5, I've heard 6. Some crazy person has said 3. Yes, 18,000 is the most reasonable answer.
Yeah, that's a lot of people. Yeah.
To just suffocate him.
No idea. I have no idea.
In real life,
Look around, make sure he's not around.
I'm gonna need this many people with me, okay? Nah, I'm gonna let Conor's Conor. Conor ain't there by accident. You know what I'm saying? So I can make it look good on camera, but in real life, hey, shout out to Conor, man.
How many Post Malones would it take to beat up Conor McGregor?
I mean,
But Post Malone has just given Conor McGregor a bunch of psilocybin.
This question's hilarious. I'm gonna say he's still gonna lose. I don't think he's still gonna. Conor, when he snaps into that mode, man, it's a different beast. So and I felt that energy. We have a lot of fight scenes together, so it's cool working and doing that dance. So to me, I think Conor will still win.
Well, hey, thank you so much for the time. I'm glad you guys didn't go with the Patrick Swayze Lions mane. It was tempting, I'm sure, but you had to go with your own hair.
We made another decision, you know. That's Patrick. That's his thing.
Thanks to Gentleman Jesus for the intro and outro music. Hear more of his work at gentlemanjesus.com. And thanks to you for hanging out. For more of the show and to connect on social media, visit booksonpod.com. Talk to you next time. Books on Pod.